Hey guys, it's Danny. Welcome to another episode from our Orchid Care for Beginners series. Today we are going to take care of an orchid with severe root rot. Now in the past we did talk about what root rot is and what causes it, how to avoid it, all of these more theoretical things. It is a great idea to focus on the practical as well because no, each orchid is identical to another and all cases will just vary a little bit. So today I'm going to take you along as I rejuvenate this orchid and I'll show you how to go about the entire process. Today's video, together with our entire Orchid Care for Beginners series, is of course sponsored by rePotme.com, who offers you everything you could possibly need to properly take care of your orchid. From pots to potting mixes, fertilizers, pest control, accessories, and so on, they have it all. Some of the products that I will be using in this video are coming from them, so I'll link you to their website down below in the description. Feel free to check them out at any time, and I'll also tell you what my favorite products are. Again, down below in the description. Right, with that said, let's get to work, shall we? Oh my goodness, look at this orchid. I think you'll agree with me when I say it's quite scary. No matter, we're gonna make her all better. So because each case and each individual vary a little bit in between them, each orchid will look a little bit different. You might expect that a root-rotted orchid is very dehydrated, has wrinkly, limpy leaves, and in many cases that indeed happens, but in some it doesn't, because root rot doesn't necessarily imply that all of the roots are rotted. If there are two viable roots here, the orchid still gets hydration. But there are indeed signs of stress on this orchid. It is producing a very tiny leaf here, and I already see a second leaf sprouting from the crown. Typically healthy orchids mature a leaf and then they start to produce another one. If an orchid produces multiple leaves at once like this, that is usually a sign of stress. And typically this leaf should have been much more advanced. I bet you that when it's done growing, it will look much tinier than these guys. That's because the orchid simply cannot uptake enough moisture and nutrients. It does get enough to keep it from becoming limp, but it's not enough to ensure proper strong growth like in the past. Now, causes of root rot vary greatly. Root rot is more of an effect than an actual disease itself. We cover the causes in a different episode from our Orchid Care for Beginners series, which you can find down below if you want to check it out. I'll link you to everything related to the subject. But in this instance, since this is a very new orchid, I just purchased it a couple of months ago, it is most likely due to the fact that it hasn't been watered properly. And also this potting mix looks very old, very crumbly, probably it is very acidic. So these factors started to attack the roots, damage them to the point of no recovery, so they slowly and surely started to just die off in the potting mix. It's not unlikely for this to happen with brand new orchids, since in flower shops they don't really go to each and every orchid, check it out, see if it has good roots or not. They just pretty much water everybody in the same way. The good news is that no matter the cause and pretty much no matter the state of the orchid, the course of action is kind of the same. First and foremost, we need to get rid of this old medium and replace it with fresh new medium. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. I'm going to unpot this orchid. One of the roots got stuck in the pot. That is okay. It's not even alive anymore. So, ooh, this is very old. But as I expected, I do have some live roots. The potting mix smells like mushrooms, pretty much. That is never a good sign. It is very old at this point. And the reason for repotting these orchids is a double one. First and foremost, if we have old medium, we need to completely remove it and replace it with fresh potting mix. And second, we absolutely need to remove all of these dead mushy roots. Leaving them on will just help spoil the fresh new medium much faster, since they will start to break down, acidify the environment, retain more moisture. Orchid roots are kind of like a sponge, but they're so good that they still retain that water even if they're not alive anymore. So the potting mix and the pot itself will be wetter than needed. Oof, what a mess. It's hard to tell which root is alive, which root is dead. Well, the way to know is by pressing on them. Some of them are very clearly not alive anymore. They look mushy, they have no substance. That is a clear sign that they're gone. But some might be tricky, so what you can do is press. If indeed it is mushy and has no substance, it is not alive anymore. So we can go ahead and cut it. Phalaenopsis orchid roots are pretty sturdy, and even if they're not alive anymore, they can be rather difficult to cut with a scissors, or in the best case scenario, uncomfortable. So I will use pruners, and I do recommend you using something similar just to make your life easier. This is a rePotme one, of course, and I really like it. I'm gonna identify a dead root and I will follow it all the way to the stem of the orchid. This is where we wanna cut it to make sure we eliminated all of it. There we go. And this can actually be quite a therapeutic process. You can just take your time, focus on what you're doing, disconnect a little bit, and make sure you're doing a good job in cutting away all of these dead, mushy roots. If you cannot trace a root all the way to the stem, cut it where you see it, and when you advance and cut more roots and you can clearly see what you're doing, you can go back and remove these roots from the stem of the orchid. Careful not to cut the stem. So I will fast forward a little bit because this will take a while. By the way, sometimes you can have a live root with multiple side roots which are not alive anymore. If you feel the main root is still alive but the side root is not, just cut the side root only, as close to the main root as possible. Same goes with segments. If a root has a tip that is dried up, cut it from where you feel it's mushy, but leave the part that is sturdy. Always cut into already dead tissue, not like the leaves. You don't want to cut into good tissue. Okay, so we're pretty much done. Lucky for me, my orchid is not completely root rotted. Most of the roots were already gone, but some are still okay. They don't look very happy, that's for sure. And I do believe all of these patches, pretty much the overall look of the roots is due to the very old medium, which has become acidic and very, very harsh on the roots. If I would have left this orchid in the same medium, all of the roots would have died. Now, if you still have just a few pieces of medium, it's not necessary to go overboard in trying to remove all of them. What's important is that you get the vast majority of the bark pieces off of the roots. Bonus, we have some growing tips, which is great. Another bonus is that this orchid already has brand new root tips from the base starting to grow. Now, here is a thing you should absolutely know about orchids. They want to survive and they are built to adapt as much as possible to their conditions. Even if they lose certain structures, they will still continue to carry on and try to grow. What's important is to offer them the conditions to grow healthy. If you know me, you know that I'm not an adept of using boosters, hormones, and all of those things to promote roots, leaves, whatever. I personally do not believe they make a significant difference. What I believe makes a difference are external factors. Another thing you should know about Phalaenopsis is that they are worm growing. Their active vegetative growth season, meaning the season where they grow roots and leaves, is the warm season. So if you want an orchid to focus more on vegetative growth, roots and leaves, that is, give it warmth. Keep it as warm as you can, within limits of course. Aim for 24 to 28 degrees Celsius. I'll put the equivalent of Fahrenheit on the screen because I'm not very good at converting on the spot and I don't want to lie to you. And since in my area it's already pretty warm, this orchid already started to grow roots. I did not offer any boosters. I didn't even fertilize this orchid. I just offered water and noticed that we have some root problems, hence this video. Now, if by mistake you cut a good root, which I see I did here, don't worry. Try to pay a little bit more attention next time, but one live root gone, it's fine. As I was saying, the orchid wants to grow and it will try to put on more roots. Obviously, if your orchid is already super limpy and super dehydrated, you might want to be extra careful not to cut the roots. But in this case, it's absolutely fine. Don't sweat it. Okay, so I threw away all of that old medium. We cannot reuse it. We can bake it, boil it, try to sterilize it as much as you want. We cannot revert organic breakdown. But don't worry, organic breakdown is a natural and very normal process. It's okay to happen. Sadly though, Phalaenopsis orchids do not grow in breaking down organics, aka soil. They actually grow on the bark of a very alive tree, where things don't really break down as much as they do in soil. Alrighty, so let's pick a pot. We might be tempted to go for a tiny pot since this orchid doesn't really have all that many roots. And if I really wanted to, I could fit this orchid in this pot. However, did you see the size of this baby? This is a very large Phalaenopsis. And if you know these types, you know they're gonna take over the pot in a matter of 3 months. So, rather than running out of space in about 3 months and having to repot again, I will go ahead and use the bigger pot from the get-go. So this is, I do believe, a 5-inch pot from rePotme, and this is the 6-inch one. I will make sure to put the measurements on the screen again because I might be lying to you. So in this one, even visually, things look a lot more like they should, right? Okay, so this is the one we are going for because I want to keep this orchid in here for at least 1.5 to 2 years before I need to do something and offer probably a bigger pot. Okay, so the choice of potting mix will be yours, whatever you like best. And there are quite a few mixes available that can suit multiple types of environments. In my environment, I will be using a mix of sphagnum moss and bark chips, my usual thing. And I like to mix it myself because I like to layer it. So I'm starting with a sphagnum moss layer at the bottom. I'm gonna place my orchid and look at her. She sits by herself. Then I'm gonna continue to add bark chips around the roots and basically alternate with sphagnum moss and bark layers all the way to the top, where the last layer will be bark. This prevents accumulation of algae and cyanobacteria, which happens a lot here in my environment, so I prefer to cap everything with bark chips. So whatever I did earlier, I will continue to do until I reach the top. On the last layer of moss, so not on top, not on the bark, I like to add slow release fertilizer. Since Phalaenopsis orchids are quite heavy feeders, and the better you fertilize them without overdoing it, the better they bloom. Feel free to check out my latest mini Phalaenopsis bloom show. They bloomed really nicely this year. I'll link you in the description. So now I'm just going to top it off with bark chips. And guess what? We are pretty much done here. I do have a few more ideas before I let you go. Okay, so we are done. At this point, there is nothing special we need to do for this orchid. We just need to care for it like we would any normal Phalaenopsis. I will water it whenever this medium is dry, which can be once every 5 days, once every 8 days. I don't know, we're gonna find out. As the roots grow though, and the orchid starts to absorb more and more water, I might have to water it more frequently than that. So because again, it's a case-by-case type of scenario, it is wrong for me to tell you water this orchid every week, because that might be wrong. Just pay attention to see when it dries, and you will find a rhythm that will work for you, your orchid, your environment. And this is how you cater care for your needs, not for a general rule on the internet. So we're done. I like to water after I repot my orchids just to make sure that the orchid does have some water for the remainder of the week. And before I let you go, in the description, I will share with you a video with a few more cases of orchids that don't have all that many roots, so you see how I go about them. I will also share with you my ICU setups, which is for orchids which have no roots. That's a little bit more of an advanced type of a solution. If I have some roots, even one tiny little stump, I don't like to put the orchid through multiple types of setups. The less stress, the better, in my opinion. So I like to place it in the pot where it will stay and cater a little bit the care until roots grow. So I think you can see a trend with me here. I like to keep things simple and to the point because this is how things work. The less hassle and stress, the better for the orchid as well. So that is about it. I'm gonna place this orchid together with my other orchids And if you want a full care tutorial with environmental tips and all of that, again, you'll find everything in the description. For today, we are done though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this will help you out. If you ever have to deal with a root-rotted orchid, I hope you don't, but these things happen. It is part of the hobby. Don't worry about it. And remember, orchids want to live. What we need to do is make sure they have the proper environment for them to live. And most of the work they will do themselves. Alrighty, so with that said, again, thank you for watching. Thank you rePotme for sponsoring yet another video from this wonderful beginner-friendly series. If you want to follow me on social media, just search for me. I'm at MissOrchidGirl pretty much everywhere. Check out my shorts channel for short form content, but most importantly, subscribe to this channel because this is where I post the good stuff. So with that said, I'll see you next time. Bye.